welcome back to this video series. This is day 5 on getting back into shape. Now, this morning, I'm going to be focusing on reestablishing fine motor control. So I've just gotten my first couple of notes out of my warm-up, my very first exercise. I'll do a little noodle here, and go ahead and do your own noodle. And get your time timer or your timer or something of that sort, because we're going to go ahead and set this. I know I'm out of screen and I shouldn't do that, but hey, I'm here and it's a live recording. I'm going to set it for 42 or 43 minutes because that's what I have. If I'd started it at 45, just with what I've done. All right. So establishing fine motor coordination. This is something I have stayed away from in terms of getting the sound I want and allowing myself to bend. Well, let's recap. In the first video, and throughout most of these last 4 days, I've been content to allow myself to be firm and engaged here while still bending a pitch down in this way. And I'm going to use an exercise I learned from Alain Trudel a few years ago when he gave a class at New England Conservatory, where he has an articulation there and a rhythm. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to go da da da, and that articulated note is just going to be the same B flat I had, and it's only after that note that I'm going to bend the pitch. We're going to go from first position down to 7th position. So playing it once, it sounds like. So go ahead and do that with me. Here we go. First position, first B flat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And 3. That was pretty painless, pretty simple. Now we're going to take that and move it a little later. So if before we went da dee da dee now we're going to go da dee da dee and on the last note of that triplet, that's when we're going to bend. So that's when we're going to re-articulate and then bend after that. So with me, 1, 2, 1, 2, da da da. And breathe. And breathe. Okay, good. I get the gist of this. I feel comfortable. So now, if we had triplets before, now we'll go da-dee-da-dee-um on the 16th. And with me. And we'll take that additional beat to breathe, which I didn't do in the first iteration, or the first time through that last one, but I did for each subsequent one. 1, 2, 1, 2. Lastly, and that's our last one. 1, 2, 1, 2, down. And lastly, we take what we've just done and we take away the articulation, but we're going to move the same way. This time without that additional ta. Dum. 1, 2, 1, 2, down. And after doing that, I feel like I've really zeroed in on my fine coordination. I have established that fine muscle control, which is one of the hardest things to get back when I've taken a break. So now that I've gotten that, I'm going to incorporate that in my warming up. So now I will proceed with my warm up and I will cut the video and I will warm up the rest of the way a little bit more slowly, take my tempo down a little bit and making sure that my slurs are all looking in that same way. And I might spend a little bit more time in doing so. But at this point, I'm gonna cut the video, do my warm up, and I'll come back after the end of doing so. You go ahead and do your warm up. If you wanna do mine, you already have it on, I believe, the first or the second video. You already have it. So at any rate, all right, continuing on from me and see you in a second. I want to take a moment to show you how I'm incorporating this into my warm-up because I've decided to incorporate it. Where I am right now is I was doing and I was unsure of what I was seeing, of whether I was doing what I had actually just done. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that tongue back into it. I'll do it again just to visualize and to affirm what I see. one, and I thought that was worth bringing it up. All right. And I'm back with just another example in my warming up. Prior to this work, what I was doing was I was allowing myself to have the shape. And I wasn't really concerned with really hitting those notes squarely. I was more concerned with the fluidity. But now with the work that I have and the work that I've done, I've set myself up to hit those notes more squarely. And on day 5, this is a good day to be doing that because now I'm comfortable with the shape and now I get that fine coordination. And I'm shooting for it to sound more like this. Particularly on the descending slur. Rather than, which I was allowing myself to do, but not anymore. And that is my basic warm-up. So taking a little longer to do this. It took me closer to 20 minutes to get through that. But I'm okay with that because I took the time to really try to establish my coordination. Sometimes I went a little slower, and as you saw, I had some cut-ins because I wanted to give you examples of what I was doing and how I was using this kind of exercise in my warm-up to help me out. All right, now, the establishing our fine motor control also exists with faster things, and today that's going to be flexibility. Now to this point, I've played Marstellers when I've done them around a comfortable tempo for me, around I notice there's a little bit of bouncing, and that's okay because I've seen it. However, I'm going to go a little bit quicker, and I'm going to go for the shaping. Ba-da-da-dum and ba-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum. And the shape is, I want there to be no bouncing. It doesn't mean there's no movement. The movement is there, but I want the movement to be smooth rather than jerky, rather than being an overabundance of movement. Only as much as I need to and as little as I can. So go with me. We're going to take the ascending one, which I believe is Marsteller number 2 in the flexibility section. We're just going to take the first part of it and play ba-da-da-dum and ba-da-da-dum. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, and. That feels very comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable for you, or you want to take it a little slower, you want to do something a little different, or you want to do it more repetitions, that's fine. But for me, that's what I'm doing. Now I'm going to do the reverse and start at the top and go to the bottom. This is where I tend to get bouncier. And I'm going to, once again, strive for smoothness. Okay, I did it 8 times. I didn't really get what I wanted. That's okay. Because now I'm going to go ahead and stop on the F. Yadum, yadum, da-dum, da-dum. Simplify. A 1, a 2, a 1, and Now that feels very comfortable. So now I'll go ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Rhythmic variation. Ya-da-dum. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, and. It's not perfect, but it was good. And I give it 4 stars out of 5, and I get the gist for what I want to do. So I'm going to go in complexity. Now I'm going to change the rhythm. Dee-da-dum, dee-ya-dum, 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 and with me. 2, 1, 2, and. Now, I see myself bouncing more than I want to. I wonder if that happens when I articulate it. If I go da-da-dum, I'm going to take a look. 1 and That looks smoother to me. Definitely looks smoother. So now I'm going to play them a little longer. Da-da-dum. 1. Do I get the gist of what I wanted to do? Absolutely. Did I achieve it? 4 stars out of 5? 4.5 stars out of 5? I did. So I'm going to keep going. Now, I'm going to take what I just did, this da-da-dum, and I'm going to do it twice, and then I'm going to do it without tongue twice. You go back to tongue, and then without tongue, and with tongue, without tongue. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, and. Now, as I got further along, I got closer to what I was after. The slurs resembled more closely what things looked like when I articulated. I didn't quite get it all the way I wanted to. I'd say I got it sometimes rather than most times, so I'm going to do it again. Do it along with me. A 2. So 2 articulate, 2 slur. Once again, we're going to do that cycle 8 times. A 1, a 2, a 1, and a. Now, that's smoother. I can see it in myself. So now I'm going to take that, this time without tongue. I'm only going to do it 8 times without tongue and see how it goes. See how I stand. Am I getting what I want to get? A 1, a 2, a 1, and a. Now, there's definitely some improvement in there, some significant improvement. Was it exactly what I was after? Not quite. But since I was at least at 4 stars out of 5, I'm going to keep going. So, why did I break it down this way? To get a rhythmic variation. What's my big purpose in doing this? Is to go ya-da-da-dum, ya-da-da-dum. So now that's what I'm going to strive for. I've broken it down in a different rhythmic way, a different rhythmic way. Now let's take the rhythm. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, and. Hey, that was better. Definitely a lot better than the first time. I either established, if I never had it before, I established less motion, but if I did have it before, I reestablished it. But either way, I made progress and growth from where I was at the beginning. All in what? 5 minutes? Is that all it took? So now let's take the up and then followed by that down. Ba-da-da-dum and ya-da-da-dum and da-da-da-dum and ya-da-da-dum. A 1, a 2, a 1, and a. was not bad at all. Now I go da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, and da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, and 1, 2, Okay, so I took some time. Well, it didn't take some time. I sped up, and I sped up intentionally to find that point sort of right in the middle. I may have dropped in tempo unintentionally. So we're gonna bring it back up. Now I'm gonna go ba-da-da-da-da-dum and ba-da-da-da-da-dum and ba-da-da-da-da-dum and here we go. 1, Okay, so you know what? It's pretty close to what I'm after, and I'm gonna keep up with this. Do the whole Marsteller exercise in this speed, in this way. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, and. All right. Was that perfect? No, it wasn't. However, sometimes in order to gain control, we have to let go of control. And in this way, I'm allowing myself to have a basic shape and by jerking less on the notes, I'm actually controlling less, but I will never be able to jerk. That won't be possible. I'm gonna have to hit it in passing. So when I allow myself to get it in passing, and hey, that was better than when let me complete my own sentence. If I allow myself to get it in passing or strive to get it in passing, I at least have some gist for the basic technique. And we'll hit more of that in another video. But this is all about fine motor control, and that's one of the fine motor control things. It's not just about slowly and precisely doing what we want to do. It's also about being able to quickly do things. It's just like, well, it's just like when we have slide technique. You know, if you're going to play a chromatic scale, you're going to play it maybe slowly. But if you try to do it at that speed, or at a much faster speed the same way, well, that's really, not only is it really hard, it's really inefficient. We change our technique from a notched technique to a smooth one. So, there we go. Okay. All right. I'm not getting off topic. It's just a follow-up and more support for what we're doing. Okay, getting back into shape. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't start to play into some of the upper register. And whereas, just like in the third day where I was going for the quality in the sound, that also requires fine motor control. Fine motor control of our embouchure and to get our aperture small enough, and also the engagement of our chord. But this time I'm going to allow myself to do it on individual notes, and I'm going to play downbeat followed by 3 beats of rest and a downbeat, and I'll do each note. I'm going to do each note 5 times. Where I'm going to start off with a high B flat. Actually, no, I'll start off with an F below that, and I'm going to play a very brilliant F. Bum, heroic, brilliant F. And the purpose in this is to reestablish my sound in the upper register. 5 times. 1, 2, and. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's go to F sharp. 1, 2, and. G. 1, 2, and. Up a half step. 1, 2, and. Okay, good. I'm really going for that sizzle. If I'm not hearing the sizzle, I'm not happy. It's when I hear that sizzle that I know that everything's working. All right, A natural. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Okay, good. I did it 4 times out of 5. And gosh, if you can't make mistakes in the practice room, where can you make mistakes? I'd rather that happen here than on stage at Symphony Hall. All right, B flats. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Okay, this is getting harder, without a doubt. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Here we go. B natural. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Good. I like the way that sounded on number 4 and 5, not so much on 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to do it again 5 more times. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. There we go. Okay, I'll respect that. Split just a little bit, but you know, I had the brilliance, so I knew everything was basically working. All right, here we go to a C. And same thing. There we go. Set on myself. This time I'm going to go without tongue. Take the tongue away and just air attack these. 1, 2, 1, and. Okay, good. I was happy with that. I think taking the tongue away was a good idea. All right, C sharp. Air attacks again. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. C sharp. That was definitely better than day 3. If you're doing it along with me, you'll know we did this on day 3 when we were expanding our limits. We were really pushing ourselves. But things are easier now on day 3 or day 5 than they were on day 3. So I'm going to go up 1 more to a D natural. I can already tell I'm not going to have exactly the sound I want. I am at the limit of my best sound. It's going to be more my 4-star sound, but I'm going to do my best to make it a 5-star sound. And at the very least, it's going to be a 4-star sound. And I'm also giving myself a break because you know what? We're squeezing flesh between bone and metal. Okay, here we go. D natural. If you've stopped already, you can fast forward, but I'm going to keep going with the D natural. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Okay, 3 at a 4-star, 1 a miss, and 1 at a 3-star. Let me do that again. Do it again with me, or don't. But I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Okay, now 4-star, maybe 4-star on the first one and got down to like 3 stars. So that's about where I'm gonna stop for that particular exercise. But you know, I've got 2 minutes left. So I'm gonna keep doing one more upper register thing. I really like the scale and the chromatic. If you've done that already, great. If you haven't, go ahead and get started with me. We're gonna start off in F major, skipping the E. Da 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 da. 1, 2, and the timer is going off. I'll do one more. Okay, good. Hey, that was 45 minutes this morning. That's the first time I've done 45 minutes in the morning in a while. So it's been almost 3 weeks since I've done 45 minutes in the morning. So not bad at all. We'll come back for another 45-minute session later on today. And as promised, I'm back. However, it's late, if you can't tell. And sometimes the day gets away from us and we have to change our plan. I had intended to have another session tonight, but at this point in the day, I know it's going to be much more constructive for me to actually get a decent night's rest and head back into it tomorrow. Yes, I could practice now. I did practice earlier today, and one of the keys of the way I've been doing this is flexibility. I have a basic plan for what I want to do, but that plan can be flexible based on the needs of the circumstance. That's the needs of my face, oftentimes, the needs of how I feel, but also the needs of the day. And the needs of the day are, it's going to do me more better. It's going to do me better, as you can tell by what I just said, for me to actually get a decent night's rest. So I'm calling it a day, and I will see you tomorrow for the next video in this series, number 6. Thanks a lot.